Hey, you guys. So I just wanted to quickly jump on and give y'all a few points about some dreams that I've had since September 23rd. Um, I really believe that today may be, within this next 24 hours, may be the time that the rapture occurs. So on September 23rd this year, I had a dream. And in the dream, I was leaving a hospital. There were two people next to me with like IVs that were in their arm, and they removed them, and we all began to get up and leave. I started to tell one of the guys about the rapture and that I believed the Lord was coming. The next day, which would have been the 24th, because it was the morning of the 23rd. And then I was telling people, I know it's hard to believe. A lot of people don't believe me, et cetera, et cetera. And people were repeating what I was saying. And we got on the elevator. And this is typical. I've had several elevator dreams representing the rapture. So we then got on an elevator, and as we were exiting the elevator, someone was in a wheelchair, and I was like, okay, go, 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 because we were trying to get off of this elevator. And I just narrowly got off, and it was like the elevator kind of hit me on the top of my head, and I was like, oh, I turned around and said, I almost didn't make it. And that was the end of the dream. And so that was on September 23rd. And then on September 28th, I had a dream. It had something to do with my girls, my older daughters, adult daughter's birthday, and their dad was there, and there was an issue with the time. Okay, that was on 9/28. So the first dream, I was leaving the hospital. Now the world is a hospital. The church. People are sick here. And they need Christ. We're sick people need the Lord. So this is a hospital, and we were leaving the hospital on an elevator going up. Okay, so then the second one had to do with a birthday. We're gonna have a new birthday when our bodies are changed. We will, receive new bodies. So that will, in a way, be a new birthday. But there was an issue with the time, and of course, there was an issue with the time that we were gonna have our new birthday. So that was 9/28. 9/29, I was at a hotel of some type on the beach with my parents and family members, and we were discussing possibly staying another night, but we were supposed to be checking out of the hotel. The world is a hotel. This is not our home. We are a temporary dwelling, temporarily dwelling here. And that was 9/29. 10/2, I had a dream. Some older ladies were in line in front of me. I was standing in a line, and one of them had a box that had some shoes in it, like a flat box, and it had shoes in it. And then the other thing they were holding looked like crib mattresses, like for a toddler bed of some kind. And so that's what they were in line with, and they were going to either check out with it. I don't know why we were in this line or what the people were doing with these items, but they were doing something with them. And my Aunt Prudence was in the room, and I always know that when I see Prudence, the Lord is telling me to be prudent about what I'm seeing. So I believe He was showing me there. We're still leaving, and this was on 10/2. That we were still leaving, and that I needed to be prudent about this information. And 10/3, I was cleaning an SUV out to cleaning seats. The seats like folded down into the floor, and I was letting the seats up because there was a lady and a young girl that apparently needed to ride with us, and so I was folding the seats up, trying to clean them off to get them ready for these two additional passengers to leave with us. So again, it was about leaving. On 10/3, that was 10/3. On 10/6, which was this morning, I had a dream that we were moving vehicles, like nice looking cars. And I was moving my car, and my brother Jeremy was moving his car. Now, a lot of times the Lord, I believe, uses my brother Jeremy as a representation of him in the dream. So Jeremy had his car, and it was getting worked on. So he said something to me, and in reference to leaving or being ready to go. And so then I looked at him, and he was like he was standing in a doorway. And so then he kind of moved and leaned to the side so that I could look and see that his car was ready. So it's like he was just telling me, I'm ready to go, sis. Okay. So I'm like, okay, Lord, are you saying today is the day? Yeah, I'm telling y'all, I pray that that's what it's saying. We'll see. Because just as in the days of Noah, and Lot, the sun rose and it looked like a normal day, but it didn't end that way. So it's quite possible. That was 13 days ago. September 23rd was 13 days ago. And also some things that were interesting I wanted to go over real quick. I had a dream in January on the 9th. And if you add a 0 in between the 1 and the 9, it's 10-9. Okay, and so on January 9th, I had a dream that my daughter's school bus, she missed the bus one morning and that the bus had crashed in front of our house. And I immediately knew when I woke up, I said, the Lord must be telling me not to put her on this bus. She's rode the bus for, 3 years by this point, 4 years. We had been here since 2022, up 2021. So she's ridden the bus every year, being here for 4 years. So I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would she not be supposed to ride the bus? But the bus crashed. So, I prayed and asked my mom. I called my mom and asked her to pray. And she said, yes, the Holy Spirit said, don't put them on that bus. So I was confused as to what was going to happen. I was like, is something going to happen to the bus? Like, do I need to start warning people that ride the bus? But I didn't want to overreact. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to play it chill. The Lord said, me don't put them on the bus. I'm not going to overreact. So I didn't. And time passed. The bus came. Nothing happened. And so over time, I'm like, okay, I don't know what the issue was, but the Lord clearly was like, don't put them on the bus. He operates with me in dreams like that. And I'm very aware when he's speaking to me. So anyway, so fast forward a few months, my granddaughter had an admirer that was riding the bus. And apparently they live across the street. And apparently his name was Zachariah. And so I was thinking, I'm like, okay, Zachariah may be the reason why the girls aren't supposed to ride the bus, because my granddaughter had just come to live with us in January, just as school was coming back off the Christmas break, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought it was weird that all of a sudden they were not to ride this bus as soon as my granddaughter got here. So I thought maybe it had something to do with kids can be inappropriate, and she was about to turn 10. She turned 10 this year in July. And so I didn't know if maybe the Lord was saying the young man might, try something funny on the bus. I didn't know. So, but that was just a thought in my brain that maybe that's why the Lord was saying, we don't want any funny business, so you just keep her off the bus. That was what I was thinking. Anyway, so after Joshua came out with his testimony and the Lord started revealing all these confirmations with me in the dreams that he had given me previously about September 23rd, et cetera, he recently gave me the revelation about the dream with Zachariah. It did have something to do with Zachariah, just not that Zachariah, which is hilarious. The fact that the Lord knew that we were gonna, of course, he purposed this house, and he knew who would be living across the street, down the street. And so what's interesting is Zechariah 9:14, it talks about the Lord being seen. It talks about going like lightning, really fast, blowing the trumpet, okay, like the Feast of Trumpets, and going with whirlwinds. Okay, now, all these things I've seen in my dreams. I saw Jesus on a cloud. Things are supposed to go like lightning really fast. The blowing the trumpet, a voice, his voice was really loud like a trumpet. And even John in Revelation says, he heard a voice as a trumpet. And so a loud voice could be, what he meant. Not that it actually was a trumpet, but that it was a loud voice. Because when I heard the Lord, he said, come up here. And it was really loud, like he was on a megaphone or something. So in one of my dreams, and I also had a dream on September 23rd, 2023, that military trucks were stacked up from the bottom to the top, and they were being taken up in this huge whirlwind. And so the whirlwind being in Zechariah, I'm just like, oh my, there's everything about the rapture, like the Lord being seen on a cloud, going like lightning. It's going to happen in a twinkling of an eye, and blowing the trumpet, Feast of Trumpets, and his voice is like a trumpet, come up here, and going with whirlwinds. He showed me the military vehicles being taken up in a whirlwind, just like Elijah was taken up in a whirlwind. So I'm like, oh my goodness. He was pointing to Zechariah in the Bible. That was the point, but it's so funny. So, and it doesn't end there. So, at the end of it is like I got the understanding that the bus of life is going to crash, but his kids won't be on it. because that's what happened in the dream. My daughter missed the bus. I saw the bus go down the street. I'm like, you're gonna miss the bus, and trying to rush and get her out. And I'm like, oh, there it is. Maybe you can, he's coming back by. Maybe you can catch it. And then he comes and makes a weird turn and runs into like a telephone pole, and the bus starts smoking and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but the Lord was saying in that dream, from the beginning of this year, from the January 2025, God was saying the bus of life that you all are on right now is about to crash. But guess what? My kids won't be on it. They will only be spectators from afar. So I am telling y'all, that is amazing that the Lord used the name of a child that lives across the street in a situation to point to the word and all the clues in Zachariah. And so recently I saw a brother's channel just a minute ago, and he actually had something that was interesting. First of all, I didn't remember that John the Baptist's father was Zachariah. And then there's a correlation with 13 because the calendar was off 13 days, and so I thought that was interesting, that, and there's 13, so there's 13 days from September 23rd 2025 to October 6th. That's 13 days. Okay. And then it says that in the St. Thomas Mount in India, there's some relic or something there, and the number 13 is right above the prophet, the Zachariah, John the Baptist's father. There's a relic, like a gold thing above his name, and it says in the plaque, and it says September 23rd on there, and it's got a 13 over the name. So I thought that was neat. So I'm going to pause this real quick and turn it around so you guys can see. Oh, and let me just say that the channel is Naveen Joe, and his name is Naveen, Naveen Joe, Joe. So that's Naveen and then a space and then Joe, Joe. And the name of the title of his video is Final Countdown, then a dash, Rapture 923 Julian calendar, and in it he's talking about the relic, and he's just going to show Zachariah, the relic with Zachariah on here with the number 13. I'm just going to show that real briefly.
It was inside a shelf, 30 relic, and there was like 124 relics placed in order inside St. Thomas Mount. And this 13th relic belonged to a saint named Zachariah. And in this 13th relic, the feast day was September 23, which pointed to the Feast of Trumpets and the feast we'll have in heaven after the rapture happens. So when I saw this few months ago, when I saw September 23, I thought the rapture will happen in September 23. But of course, it did not happen. And we had to wait longer. But I don't understand why it got delayed. But after a few days,
Anyway, so I was just showing y'all that. I know it was backwards, but if you go to his channel, you can see it. And so I thought that was interesting. I just want everybody to be encouraged and understand that God is in control of everything. I know it's not working out the way we thought it would and the way we hoped it would, but it's God's plan. This is his story. The Bible is his book, and he's telling us his story, and we are all blessed to be a part of it. So it is an exciting time. It is not supposed to be a fearful time. If you trust in the Lord and you give your heart to him, he loves us, and he's going to protect you and take care of you and help you get to the end on his side, of what he has determined for you in your life. So if you just put all your trust and your faith in Jesus and our Father in heaven, receive his Holy Spirit, believe that he will give it to you, because that is what he said. If you ask, you will receive, if you ask in the name of the Lord. And there is no good thing that he is going to withhold from those who walk uprightly. Okay? So I'm a living witness of that. He, heard me cry. He sent me his Spirit. He gave me the power to walk righteously in his sight. It's his righteousness, not mine. But I'm just telling you that he knows each one of his people. He's not going to leave you or forsake you. So if you just trust in him, you're going to be just fine. So that was it. I just wanted to let y'all know, still be encouraged. We still have, I guess, the next 24 hours to see what happens. So Prayerfully, I'll see you guys soon in the air. I love you. Jesus loves you. See y'all soon.